Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
We're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California, and we've got a special show for you. Do you want good health? Seriously, what would you pay to have the best of health, to feel good 24/7? Right? Actually, we want to ask some questions and we want answers, but we want answers from experts, not just me getting excited and talking about what I think, because this is not about one man's opinion. I want to go around the world with you right now, around the entire planet, and find out what is going on with the people. Yesterday we asked the question, what percentage of the world is healthy? And we got some good answers. Today we want to revisit that subject and take it to another level. Alhamdulillah. Okay, and to help us do that, we have our guests with us right now. We have Dr. Ado. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And we also have Dr. Sultan. Dr. Sultan, if I can make this thing work, and it looks like I can't. There you are. Dr. Sultan, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right. Earlier, I had sent out something to you guys, and I'm going to ask you to check it out and see what you can do with it, because we have a technical issue, and I cannot work with it right now, but while we're on the air. But if you guys will take over, I'll see what I can do with it. So the first question, Dr. Adil, if you don't mind, can we throw that at you?
Sure. No problem. What percentage of population is healthy? That's the question. The answer is 4% only. And this basically, those are the people who have exactly 4.3% have no health problems in 2013. And with 1/3 of the world population, 2.3 billion that are not healthy. So the healthiest country in the world? Spain. Spain is the healthiest country in the world. It has few countries based on the Mediterranean diet, and that's a part of what people eat. They eat the right food, and this has been shown, not only to decrease heart disease and strokes and osteoporosis in women.
Let's discuss the first question about what percent of population is healthy. We talked about that 4% of the population is healthy. And so 96% is sick. The statistics per se do not really give a useful information to the general public. So what is the useful information we want to drive from this basic fact?
I think whenever we get to the end of this, it will take care of it. But go ahead. I see you're on a roll. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So number one thing is that most of the people are born healthy. So when we are taking 4%, 96% of the population sick, probably 96% of the population born was healthy. Then what went wrong over a period of time that we get the statistics like 96% of people are sick? The main thing for us to realize is that sickness does not start overnight. It starts with minor things, little rash, little cough, little running nose, little stomach ache, little back pain. If we don't pay attention to those, then the problems keep multiplying and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The symptoms keep getting worse and worse. More and more symptoms come on, and looks like that you have joined the Disease of the Month Club.
Yeah, actually, what you're doing right now is the second half of our program. So if you want to throw away the first part, because you're giving answers to all of the stuff right now, please check out what I sent you, and let's continue with the questions, and then we're going to give the big answers, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. He's on target. He didn't even check it out yet. He knows what he's doing. Dr. Adil, back to you. Go
okay, no problem.
Wow, get these guys wound up, man, and they just take over.
Hey, mashallah, a lot of energy, mashallah. So, moving on, and it looks like there is definite correlation between the health status and the food that people eat. Mediterranean diet has a lot to do with it. So we're trying to see about the percentage of the population. What percentage of the population is healthy? According to the new study, a few Americans have a lifestyle that is considered healthy. In fact, less than 3% of Americans meet the measurable characteristics to reduce.
Whoa! Did you say 3%?
Less than 3%.
Less than 3%
of Americans, correct. And this is according to that study. Reduce the person's risk for heart disease, according to the new research published by the Journal of Mayo Clinic Proceedings. This was in January 7, 2020. So this stuff is real, and it's systemic, and it's all over. And we definitely now seeing the correlation between a good nutrition, a good health, and the way that's whatever you put in, you are what you eat. So if you eat good food and have good nutrition, you have good health, and vice versa. The next question: how many people have at least one health problem? Nearly all people in the world have at least. We're talking about all over the world. So nearly all people in the world have at least one health problem. And 1/3 have more than 5 health problems. This is according to a study by Global Burden of Diseases. And this was published back in 2015. The next question: why is American food so unhealthy? The answer is, we've been talking about it all along. Artificially colored, sweeteners, toxic to the liver and other organs. High sugar index works the body sugar processing system. Low in fiber and probiotics and in the food, and also it's very high content of hormones that can adversely affect the body delicate hormonal system. And we already know about this from, people who have, bigger chicken to sell and they put a lot of hormones to, swell up, and most female hormones. And this has a lot to do with decreased fertility. And this has been noted in a lot of people around the globe. Same thing, when you inject them with female hormones in the food and chicken, just to make it all swell up and become bigger and larger in size to sell, make profitable. This have lead to adverse effects, on the health of people. So are people getting healthier being in the world today? The answer is a world population is getting sicker. Study shows people, years of healthy lifestyle illness now show that they did not back in 1990. So there is definite worsening of the global health related to the food and the sweeteners and the preservatives and all the stuff that we've been saying all along about the correlation between the two. So in essence, you have 4% of American population will be only considered healthy. The majority are unhealthy. You have 2.3 billion in the world that have at least, one health problem, and then you have a systemic kind of issue that have to do with the chronic diseases, and this is certainly has been having correlation with the unhealthy food, processed food, high sugar content food, sweeteners, and artificial flavors. So we haven't even touched the alcohol, the impact of alcohol and smoking. And I mentioned in one of the research, maybe 2/3 of the world cancer is related to just smoking and alcohol. So if we cut down on these, that will be a huge impact on the global health. And I believe, if anything in this article proven, it shows that the fact that if you want to make an impact on health, improve nutrition, get rid of bad habits, adapt a healthy lifestyle. If we don't do that, then the health will continue to worsen, the immune system will continue to worsen, and more infection like COVID and others will continue to dominate and devastate people globally.
Okay, well, Doctor, you spoke about alcohol. It seems like you really disapprove of any consumption at all of alcohol. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. And there is more and more and more research coming out. And they actually initially were concerned about the amount, but now the frequency of alcohol. This comes from South Korea. And I think I touched on that in our research that was just, people who just sit down, and sipping on alcohol. It's not amount. Hey, I didn't have much drink, today, but I've been sipping on a few drinks all day long. So it's the frequency, and of course the amount that both add to the toxic effect of alcohol on the entire body. There's about 28 different types of cancer related to alcohol.
Okay, could you comment on this particular statement? I found something right here about this while you were speaking, and I'd like to show that to our audience. It says here, alcohol consumption appeared linked to more than 740,000 new cancer diagnoses in 2020, equivalent to 4% of cases worldwide. Heavy, that's in the United States. So realize that this is 4% of the worldwide population of this problem is right here in the U.S. Heavy alcohol consumption is contributing to a high number of cancer cases. And this is from the Lancelot Oncology. Oncology, by the way, if you didn't know that, like me, I'm dumb. But oncology is related to the word cancer. That's what it's all about. Doctor, if you don't mind, can you comment on that? Is this accurate?
Sure. I'm not saying it's only cancer. Anything that comes along in contact with alcohol damages and kills it. So from the mouth to the tongue to the esophagus, which is the food pipe, to the lung, to the kidney, to the GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract, the stomach, the colon, the pancreatic cancer, pancreatitis, people who have basically lost balance, and then they can fall and they can bleed into the head. They can have increased pressure in the portal circulation in the liver and start to basically vomit blood from something called esophageal varices, which is like dilated veins in the lower esophagus. And then you can have seizures, you can have domestic violence, you could have all the divorces and the highway accidents, and you could go on and on and on and on. And guess what? Alcohol related. So there is definite destruction and lead to violence. Most of the violence and most of the crimes, whether it's a shooting or rape or sexual assault, it is highly connected to intake of alcohol. Because when people take alcohol, they lose their control, and they lose their sense of reasoning, and they start doing inappropriate things because they have inhibition of the cortical, or the part of the brain that kind of control the behavior. They become released. They do inappropriate things. They start to lose their control of their bowel. They start, making boo-boo every, urination and everywhere and so on, and very, very inappropriate behavior that sometimes lead to violent crimes. So I believe that these things are preventable. We can control and change the behavior to improve the health of not just Americans, but everybody around the globe by getting rid of these toxins. We already talked about other things that could be prevented, and like smoking, vaping, hookah, and other drugs, until cocaine, marijuana also is on the list of bad things that could lead to neuromuscular incoordination and fogging of the brain. All these things also depress the immune system. So it's all connected. I mean, if you don't take care of your body by doing all the healthy lifestyle and good nutrition, or good gas, if you would, then everything else will start falling. And then no matter how much you spend, by the way, it doesn't buy good health. And you already know that, because we're the big spenders in the world when it comes to health costs, but we're not getting the best, healthcare by parameters according to quote unquote, target endpoints that are used by metrics. We're only like 36 or 37. So we need to change that, and we need to do this, collectively, to change the culture into more healthy culture.
All right. I think you did a great job on that. Dr. Sultan, I would like to ask you, if you don't mind, if you could comment on the subject of the elderly in our country who are suffering from dementia, they're suffering from arthritis, suffering from all kinds of things, aches, pains, back pains, neck pains, and things like this. And we say that we're giving them the best of treatment, but when we put them away in these various places, are they really getting the kind of treatment that they need, or are they just being placated enough to keep them quiet? If you don't mind to comment on that.
Very, very good question. But let's start with another perspective before I answer that question. You gave horrible statistics about how many % of people are healthy and how many people are sick. My first question is...
actually, let me just be sure that I didn't give those. I just quoted them from...
Yes.
This is from the internet. If you got a problem, go to Google.
Yeah. We researched and we found what the answers are. So my first question is this good or is it bad? Is test. It all depends who you talk to. If you talk to the medical industry, this is the best news they could ever have. And if you talk to the general public, this is a very bad news.
Wait a minute. You said there's good news out of this? How could this be good news for anybody?
Well, if your income depends on taking care of sick people, that's a good news. If 90% people are healthy, how much money can you make off those people?
So now wait a minute.
So I'm just sarcastic. I'm sarcastic.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm sarcastic. See, I brought this issue for a good reason. I'm going to explain to you. Now, you said about the elderly that what is their overall status of health? How are they doing? They are suffering from a lot of chronic ailments. And in the first early part, I had discussed, or I started to discuss, that when we are born healthy. Over a period of time, we develop more and more chronic illness. It is because of, number one, diet, number two, our environment, and number three, our lifestyle. These things combined together over a period of time cause more and more and more illness, so that the number of illnesses and as the severity of the illness keeps increasing, and then we hit those problems with symptom relieving drugs, but we do not address the underlying causes. Therefore, it is the older you are, more problems you're likely to have just for that reason. And you do not, or I would say, an average person, or even educated people, even with people with money, don't have this information to what we are talking about right now about diet, environment, nutrition, lifestyle. Dr. Adil just talked about alcoholism, which is one of the most common cause for all degenerative diseases, whether it's cardiovascular, whether it's neurological, neuropsychiatric illness, and all other physical ailments, joint disease, gastrointestinal problems, and chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. All these are part of poor nutrition, poor diet, and poor lifestyle. So we have to take responsibility ourselves, because if we do not take care of responsibility ourselves, and we do not know how to take care of responsibility ourselves, then we become dependent on the medical system to help us. But unfortunately, the symptomatic treatment, this symptom, that drug, that symptom, that drug, has led us to a point of no return in which we will progressively get sicker and sicker. So our elderly are very, very sick. Look at the nursing home full of, hospitals full of. It's not that many young people in the hospital and nursing home as much the elderly, because of all this lifestyle. So on this program, we have talked many times that how we can improve our nutrition. I'm just, because a big subject is alcohol right now. So I just want to, I quote unquote, okay, I understand, but I'm just pretending that I don't understand. What's wrong with having small amount of alcohol? I mean, it's just going to kill you. You won't do anything now and then, once a week, once a month. What's the big deal? So here is, I'm going to answer. This is the general public will say, I drink occasionally. I don't think it's going to hurt me. Alcohol is a very powerful addicting substance. When you get exposed to addicting substance, as a matter of fact, all mammals, when they get exposed to addicting substance on a repetitious basis, they become addicted to it, so that the amount and as well as the frequency of alcohol increases. So all the diseases that you see associated with alcoholism is often associated with people who have been drinking or consuming a lot of alcohol. See, this is common sense thing. I mean, are you stupid? don't you understand that drinking so much alcohol will bother you? But here is the key fact. The characteristic of an addictive substance is that when you get addicted to it, when you have your addiction, it gives you uplift and makes you feel better. And when that level goes down, then you start having craving. You want to have more until to reach to that level where you just feel fine. This is an example of that is somebody who's addicted to caffeine, which is far less addicting than alcohol.
Okay,
So,
Doctor, I want to ask you something about alcohol that just came up, all right?
Yeah.
And it's saying here that, that there's a question.
Mhm.
How much alcohol makes you an alcoholic? Now, the answer that they give, and this is what I want to question you about, is can we agree with this, or is this something that, no, that's not for us as Muslims, we wouldn't agree with that. It says for women, it's having more than 3 drinks a day or 7 drinks per week. For men, it's 4 drinks per day or 14 drinks a week. If you drink more than that daily or weekly limit, you are at risk of becoming, or you already are, an alcoholic. What can we say about that?
Well, very, very interesting. First of all, we should understand one thing, that 7 drinks a week does not mean the same thing as 7 drinks on a Sunday. That is point number 1.
Oh,
7 drinks a week does not mean, is not equal to 7 drinks on a Sunday. So, principle of addiction is that any food that you consume more than once in 4 days, you're likely to become addicted to it, because that is how much time it takes food to get out of your system.
oh, wait a minute. You said food. You
Yeah,
said
alcohol is
food.
food. Okay, well, I mean, it's not to you and me.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on a second. When we say about food, I remember when I was on the Mexican border, there were people that ate beans every single day. And then I met people while I was in Pakistan, India, that eat rice every single day of their life. Are you saying that's an addiction?
No, you can become addicted. See, we use the word allergy, but a lot of food allergy is really a food addiction phenomenon. The more frequently you eat, you become more and more addicted to it, and it depends. The food that is more readily absorbable is more addicting than the food which is less readily absorbable. For example, to give you an example, you know the term alcoholic means they're addicted to alcohol. So similarly, we have the chocoholics or caffeineholics. So caffeine, there you got you. Okay.
Chocoholic, good, and
Chocoholics.
coffeeholic, good, very good, very, very good.
That's right. All right. Okay. There you go. Now you're going to feel good. The rest of the program, I can predict. So what we are talking about is the more addicting a food, chocoholics, more readily absorbable food it is more addicting. That's why somebody with the caffeine addiction, they say, in the morning, until I get a couple cups of coffee, I really can go make my day. But they will not say, you know what? Unless I've got 2 cups of oil a day in the morning, I just can't go, because fat is the least absorbable form of food. So therefore, people are not addicted to it. Proteins, more addiction. Carbohydrates, complex, more addiction. Sugars, more addicting. Caffeine, more addicting. This is called the addiction pyramid. Alcohol is more addicting. Opioids, more addicting. Opium, more addicting. So the more absorbable form of food becomes more addicting. And when you start that addiction, initially you go through withdrawal symptom, you get a headache, fatigue, tiredness, or whatever your symptoms are. But when you take addictant, you feel better. That's why all these people on drugs, the addiction phenomenon, they're addicted. When they don't have it, they feel so miserable. I remember in one case, I was in training and I was doing moonlighting at one place, and we served the poor people. So a guy came in with heroin addiction, and these people try to exaggerate how much money they spend on heroin. So I asked him that, how much money you spend? Well, that was about 50 years ago. $200 a day. I said, where do you get $200 a day? Well, out in the streets. I said, I've never found $200 in a street, and you find them every day. How do you do that? Well, when you have to have it, you find the ways to do it. So that's what so this is how this.
Wait. Now I've got a question about this. He said finding it in the street. You just look down at the road or go up to different streets up and down looking for money, or what?
Well, that's what I asked him. I said, I walk on the streets and say, I don't get any. I've never found any money.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't find any money either. Is he alluding to the fact that he will do anything to get the money? Is that what he's saying?
Rob people or whatever. And the reason he said that is because he really told his soul truth. His soul was speaking when he said that, because when you don't have your addictant, you feel so miserable. Especially these high-end addictants, that you will willing to do anything and everything to get out of that misery, to get that money, to get that fix.
Oh, speaking of doing anything, we have to do something right now, and that's called a promo for it's a break. So tell everybody what to do, Doctor.
Let's have a break, and we will be right back after the break. And stay tuned with
Guidance TV.
Hey, Guidance TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guidance TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guidance TV.
Guidance TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guidance TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guidance TV.
Stay guided with Guidance TV. Guidance.
This is Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click. And we're back. You're watching Guidus TV, and those of you who just tuned in, I'm going to tell you tonight is the second part of the medicine show. The first part was last night, and then we're into it on this night. Okay, and this is the second hack of the second part. We've been talking about health worldwide and especially in the United States. And we found out tonight that we only have less than 4% who are actually healthy in the United States. And that's based on not complaining of aches or pains for like a month or so many days. But then eventually all of us are going to fall into that category. And we specifically got focused on alcoholism. And what we found out is that more than 3 drinks a day indicates that you are an alcoholic. And more than 7 total in a week, spread out over the week, still can be considered an alcoholic. So if you said, well, I can control it, all right, then you have one of the first signs of being a real alcoholic, because you're drinking and saying you can control it. That is one of the things. If you go to an AA meeting, they're going to talk about that. Alcoholics Anonymous is what I'm talking about. So what are the symptoms of drinking too much alcohol? All right. One of the things that we're going to look at, and I'm going to show this, and then I want to come back to our doctors, because they're the highfalutin, all-know-it guys that we have with us. And but I'm going to show you this. It says, it asks a question: am I a high-functioning alcoholic? And what are the signs? All right. Symptoms of alcohol overdose include mental confusion, difficulty remaining conscious, vomiting, seizures, trouble breathing, slow heart rate, clammy skin, dulled responses, like no gag reflex. The thing that prevents you from choking to death. An extremely low body temperature. Alcohol overdose can lead to permanent brain damage or even death. Doctor, the quote that I just made was from the internet. Do we generally agree with it, or do we see that it's overstated, or would you say that it is understated? Up to you.
Well, it's certainly not overstated, and it may very well be understated, because I cannot imagine that any disease that is not really directly or indirectly related to alcohol consumption. Alcohol can affect the entire part of the body, head to toe. As you talk about neuro symptoms, headaches, depression, irritability, aggressiveness, family discord, fighting in the family, abusing spouse, abusing children.
Well,
I'm just talking.
Yeah. Here's something that I found. I'm going to put this up. It says drinking too much puts you at risk for some types of cancer, like cancer of the mouth, cancer of the esophagus, throat, liver, and breast. And it can affect your immune system. And this is something, guys, everybody pay attention to this. Right now, in the middle of this pandemic, the one central thing that everybody on the planet needs is a functioning immune system that is up to snuff. Otherwise, we are exposing ourselves to imminent danger. And I want to just finish that sentence there. It said, if you drink every day or almost every day, you might notice that you catch colds, flu, or illnesses more frequently than people who don't drink. Wow. Doctor, your comments.
This is well explained. It requires no comment. That's accepted the way it is. Because alcohol not only it suppresses the immune system, when it suppresses the immune system, various infections take over. And chronic infections is an important cause for a lot of chronic illness, including Epstein-Barr infection and CMV and so many other viruses, Lyme disease. All these things will flourish when if your immune system is not healthy, the diet is not healthy, and alcohol is there's no role of alcohol in any health or wellness program. So this is why what Prophet ﷺ said that I'm paraphrasing it, that you got to have no dealings with anyone who deals with alcohol in any form, whether it is the guy who makes alcohol, is the guy who transports alcohol, is the guy who sells alcohol, is the guy who buys alcohol, is the guy who consumes alcohol. All these things are condemned for that reason.
Okay. Let's hold that thought for just a second, because we have Dr. Adil here, and I want to ask him, Dr. Adil, do you know the Arabic for this particular one?
Yes, mal'un al-khamr, that the people who are involved in every step of the way of alcohol, whether serving alcohol, whether making alcohol, whether distributing alcohol, whether selling alcohol, whether consuming alcohol, all of them, they are, mal'un,
we wanted you to say the Arabic of it if you know it.
Mal'un rahmatullah. I don't know, I don't remember the exact text, but I know that the gist of it is mal'un, hamil al-khamr, the person who carries and serves and delivers and transports, and everybody involved in the chain, the whole entire chain of alcohol, is definitely responsible and also guilty in that sense. This is again the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because of the devastating effects that we've been saying all along. And I want to add to Dr. Sultan the fact that alcohol affects the heart in so many ways, in very devastating ways. There's millions of Americans who have congestive heart failure simply from alcoholic cardiomyopathy. And I tell people, alcohol is a toxin. You bring a drop of alcohol on the heart muscle, you look under the microscope, it actually kills it and destroys the heart muscle. And this cardiomyopathy leads to, a lot of hospitalization, a lot of, devastating effects with fluid buildup. People sometimes cannot breathe. They put on a ventilator, this and that, simply because the heart doesn't pump well, because the alcohol is intoxicating the heart directly. And not only that, regardless of the amount, this is another research, very interesting research came out from UK actually, and it has a lot to do with binging, around the holidays, and then after that, in January where it's all dry months, and then you see the incidence of something called atrial fibrillation, which where the upper chamber basically fibrillates rather than going into normal rhythm, and it's very common. Usually it increases the incidence with age, but with alcohol you can find young people develop atrial fibrillation, and that increases the risk of stroke 8 times. So you have young people who develop atrial fibrillation, goes into the stroke, and then the only thing in the history, obviously alcohol, and then it elevates the blood pressure, gives the heart failure, and then also weaken the heart muscle. So you find, wow, it's a total destruction, not just when we said the cancer and all this, everything that comes in touch with alcohol, but everything else. When alcohol is ingested and goes into the bloodstream, that it actually have devastating effect on the heart muscle, and also promote, heart failure and strokes and atrial fibrillation and abnormal heart rhythm. Sometimes when the heart is weakened so much that people can die of fatal heart rhythm called ventricular tachycardia, because the heart is hardly moving. And it wouldn't help if you put even a defibrillator or any other devices that shocks the people out of this rhythm, because the heart is so weakened from the alcohol. And we tell people, rather than pumping all the medicine, it's not going to work if you keep adding the toxin on regular basis. And now, like I said, it used to be like a huge amount, like the stuff you mentioned, 7 drinks a day or so. And a lot of people, unfortunately, during the pandemic, have sharply increased the consumption of alcohol, leading, always we talking about all those parties on weekends at super spreader events. And guess what? Alcohol is a common denominator in all those parties. Alcohol is a common denominator of all the events that led to outbreaks of alcohol, of coronavirus outbreaks, and increased, unfortunately, among new users like middle and young women, and those who live alone, and those who elderly, and linked to depression and suicide. So now we look into total destruction of the human being, and all this, cancers and strokes and all that could be simply prevented by avoiding the toxin. This is very, very important, and I hope the message can go across, because the Creator, God Almighty, who created us, told us to stay away from alcohol, not even come close to it, because knowing your human, weakness and so on, I'm only going to have a little drink. You know what? 2 and 3 and 4, because somebody intoxicated and then it gets on the highway, and God forbid, the car flips and all that because they lost control and under the influence of alcohol.
Dr. Adil, you brought up something very interesting, that how you teach your patients that alcohol kills the cells. So there was a school teacher who wanted to bring the importance to the 9th graders, the importance of alcohol. So as an experiment, what he did was he put some alcohol and put a worm in there, and within a short period of time, the worm died. So he asked the class, what do you think about this experiment? So the one student raised his hands and said, yes, if you drink alcohol, you cannot have worms. It'll cure your worms. No, it won't.
I didn't get, I missed the
You should be
joke.
laughing. Dr. Sultan is laughing. You should be laughing.
I didn't get it. I don't understand what.
Use alcohol for worms treatment.
What? Okay. Yeah, I got that, but the teacher put a worm in some alcohol,
Right.
and it died.
The worm died. So he asked the student, what do you think about this this observation? He said, well, if you drink alcohol, you cannot have worms.
Oh, I thought, all right, yeah.
It is a joke.
I got it now. If you drink alcohol, you won't have worms. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I don't think that that's even true. I think that the alcohol, some way or another, wouldn't kill worms, because if that was simple, then they would use it to get rid of worms, but it doesn't work. I don't think. What do you think?
Well, it's just lighten up the environment. We've been talking about alcohol for so long.
Oh, okay.
Light and make
All
it
right.
just little light talk.
I was worried that you were trying to give some medical advice here to consume alcohol for worms.
Just remember, that you should be
Astaghfirullah, no.
always be surrounded with your good friends that don't get you in parties where there's alcohol consumption, because that will lead to bad things for sure. And especially around the holidays, we see it under peer pressure, unfortunately, because all what you do is party and alcohol and drugs and so on, and lead to devastating and bad things for sure to happen. So let us try to pick our friends carefully, and let's try not to engage in high risk behavior. We can have all the fun, and good time and all that without alcohol or drugs.
All right, and you just reminded me of something else, that an old saying we have in Texas, that you can pick your guitar You can pick your nose, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Never heard it, but hey.
Okay, well, Dr.
This is
Sultan
an
wanted us to
alcohol-free
lighten
zone.
up a little bit, so I'm lightening it up.
We should actually promote the fun that is free of alcohol and drugs. And people can actually enjoy it. And why does it have to be with toxin or something that will harm people? Again, only a few minutes left. 1-800-971-4383. For those who have any questions, health related, COVID or non-COVID, we're here to help and serve everyone. Inshallah. 1-800-971-4383.
Yeah, I just want to bring up this subject, Stephen. About 50 years ago, when I was coming to the United States, my brother gave me a very valuable advice. He said, you'll be there will be parties, and do not drink alcohol, not even beer. And I took that advice to heart, and by the grace of Allah Ta'ala, 50 years, I'm not, before that I didn't do it either, okay? So I have not consumed alcohol and never tried to do that. And it's Allah's blessing that at this age I have got good health. And you are talking about the elderly. When I see elderly people, because I'm taking the patient as a whole, not just a endocrinologist or cardiologist or pulmonologist. So I list all the patient problem. It's not uncommon for me to see 35, 40, 45 problems, active problems in a patient who is 60 years old, 70 years old, or even younger people. So that is our general state of health, that people are not just having one or two problems, but 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 problems. I can count more than 50 in some occasional patient. So this is our real state of health. So if we want to claim our health, I teach my patients all the time, is up to me. No one is coming to rescue me. So therefore, I have to have a healthy lifestyle.
Say that again, doctor. I like that. Go ahead.
Okay. It has to be up to me. No one is coming to my rescue. And in that, the most important lifestyle is cut the crap out of your life. Caffeine, chemicals, refined sugar, carbohydrates, alcohol, processed food. If you do these four things, and Dr. Adil remind me of marijuana, so don't get cramp, I think that's M is for marijuana. So if you do that, that is a big lifestyle change or healthy lifestyle, which will not only promote good health, but also can reduce a lot of chronic illness. Like cutting down these things, you can improve your blood pressure, you can improve your coronary artery disease, you can reduce weight, you can control your diabetes by just taking off these four things or five things. So and when you take care of these things, there are a lot of other things also will get better.
Can we spend the last couple minutes talking about something called obesity?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yes.
is Dr. Adil? What would you say obesity is?
Well, there's a lot of ways to define it. Increased body weight, increased adipose tissue or fatty tissue in excess of body needs. They have to be certain parameters, have to do with the circumference, body circumference, whether it's 38 in males and 34 in females. There is a body mass index, which is calculated based on formula between the weight and the height. And, based on that formula, then you can calculate it if If it is high, then there's moderate, there's mild, moderate, and severe obesity. Because morbid obesity, that's the highest risk of all. We know now among risk factors for COVID, high blood pressure, African American, and obesity. Those are well-known, factors. We know that obesity is a disease, just like considered as a disease because it is one of the biggest triggers of chronic diseases. It lingered and is connected to a syndrome where you have metabolic syndrome, where you have people have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. Sometimes with obesity, you have sleep apnea, have arthritis, you have chronic pain, and you have, of course, sometimes depression and decreased mobility, and with all these combined, increased risk of heart disease and increased risk of premature death. So no matter how you cut it, the extra weight that's being carried by the body unnecessarily due to increased intake of carbohydrates, whether it's sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise, and in combination with increased intake of carbohydrates, combined, the body starts to store the extra calories, if you would, that you take it more than what the body needs, into fat stored in the belly, in the lower extremities, and in the thigh areas. And because of the increased fat around the circumference of the abdomen, that have been associated with increased risk for heart disease and stroke. So it is a complex disease. It's basically there's a pandemic in America with obesity that has increased recently.
We have a phone call. It's exciting.
We do have a caller. Let's take the call right now.
Live Show SH user.
All right. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Who are you?
Assalamu alaikum.
You speak Arabic?
Not very good, but we do have somebody here that can understand you. Go ahead. Tell us your name.
Allah, تفضل يا أخي, تفضل.
So I want to ask you about a verse in the Quran.
تفضل.
Surah Maryam, or number 19. Maryam number 19.
Okay.
Ayah 171. Ayah 171.
Okay.
Can you read it for me?
Okay. Maryam, ayah 171.
171. It say what it says.
Okay, I'm getting it. Just a second. Because we only got a minute to go before the show is over.
Yeah. They're telling us the show is
Surah Maryam, last ayah is 98, so there's no 117, unless you're mixed up with another ayah.
Yeah, there are not even 100 ayahs in that, and I just looked it up on our website, and it says that the ayah is not there.
Is the last verse.
So let's pick that up tomorrow. Call us back tomorrow, and we're off the air right now. So everybody, stay tuned, stay guided with
Guidance TV.
Yeah. Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them, or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.